as we said, we're developing within the team of teams, and we are developing in the workshop process the definitive model of conscious collaboration and a process of communicating it to others that they can internalize themselves as individuals and as organizations and as collectives, such as nations. So that means developing a new system of learning and education that delivers that new model. We're redefining what might be termed social and competitive dynamics, traditional social and competitive dynamics, refining them, evolving them into a new dynamic and paradigm of socially operated from conscious collaboration that is sustainable. That's a new paradigm and approach to building the new future of humanity. Right now, there is a process of learning that has been worked from by humanity up until this point in history. Whether we call it social learning, tribal learning, group learning, collective learning, species level learning, nationalistic or nation learning, or organizational cultural learning, however we would look at it, however we would define it at whatever scale, or individual learning, that dynamic of incomplete learning, of learning things in an intellectual way and not embodying them, or learning them only in an emotional way and not fully embodying them, not fully consciously embodying the learning, has been glacial. It has taken millions of years for us to get together. We've been working together as souls, believe it or not, for millions of years to come to this moment, to talk on Zoom, to learn how to learn more effectively and efficiently than we have as a species for millions of years. So is this an inflection point, a seminal moment, a catalytic opportunity for us to learn how we have been learning and to recognize the glacial dynamics of that learning, the slow, steady, ponderous, school of hard knocks of learning through judgment and attacking one another rather than through loving one another. One moment. So in that process, we have developed technologies. We've developed the computer. We have developed Zoom. We have developed medical technology. And that technology is accelerating at a much faster arc than our tribal learning process is evolving. This tribal learning dynamic has not been, its territory has not been adequately mapped and communicated to people so that they would understand it, so that they would be able to say, oh, I've been learning this way through the school of hard knocks, through repetitive, unconscious action and prior solutions generation modes. I've been creating more and more plastic bottle solutions in the world without realizing it. And my prior tribal solutions generation, for-profit, competitive model of solutions creation is killing the planet and my future children, or our next generations, or other species. So that process of tribalized learning that is now being augmented by technology, the existence of the World Wide Web, the existence of Zoom, the existence of the presentation software that we're utilizing at this moment. It's being augmented by those technologies, and paradoxically, those technologies are speeding up the process of life. They're speeding up time. They're speeding up how many decisions we're required to make every day, and every contemplative dynamic of interaction and relationship. The technology is dragging us along, like if you've seen these folks that utilize parachutes and kite surfing, I think it might be called. They use a parachute to pull them along as they sail across the ocean. Well, that's a metaphor for this technological revolution we're experiencing. It's dragging humanity along behind it, and we're learning to learn in new ways. And we're being required to learn faster and in many different new ways. And the technology is accelerating in its development way faster than we're learning from the technology. And that's created this situation, this seemingly terrible situation that we're experiencing, our children are experiencing on social media. Meaning the algorithms in social media have been designed so exquisitely, we say that in air quotes, so effectively, so ruthlessly, so logically, to entrain the reactive thought processes and mental dynamics and emotional dynamics and even our biological chemistry of the children that are participating on social media, so that they have become entranced and entrained and habituated and addicted to social media interaction and social media socializing, and thus a social media socializing mode of learning that is not quality learning. It has created what, as far as we understand from science now, is an 8-second capacity to focus on anything. So if people cannot be attentive, if they cannot focus for long periods of time, children, our current generations of children and young people, if their attention span has been reduced to 8 seconds, is that a foundational learning disability, not a learning augmentation, not a learning enhancement via technology, a learning disability generated as a result of utilization, misutilization, and misapplication of technology in the world? Are they reducing our capacity as human beings to be conscious and to collaborate consciously? Is this a potential enslavement of our potential, a subjugation of our conscious potential via misapplication of technology in the world? At the very moment that application of conscious collaboration would serve us most in resolving climate change. This is such an absolutely vitally necessary discussion, moment of understanding. Technology can enhance our capacities, and simultaneously, unintentionally or intentionally, it can diminish our capacities to consciously collaborate to solve global problems and issues, or to transform ourselves as a species intelligently and wisely and sustainably. So how important is this moment of this conversation, this single line on this single slide, to fully understand, to fully grasp, to fully recognize the meaning and implications of, to fully understand that you all online and anyone that hears this recording are now empowered to change that trajectory of devolution of consciousness that has been occurring now for years below the radar, and transmute it and transplant it or supplant it with methods, techniques, educational regimens, and thus conscious collaboration capacity within the youth of our nation and the youth of our world. And if you do so, if you set that intention, if you commit to that, you can help save future generations from being entrained and entranced and mesmerized into an incapacity to learn anything truly necessary or deep or meaningful or wise or conscious. You can help them learn to resolve their egoic processes simultaneous to enhancing their capacity to collaborate and solve future problems, future issues, future transformational needs.